Good evening, Calvary kids, and welcome to Kids on Missions Online. We are so excited you guys could be here with me tonight, and we're just going to have a great special time tonight talking about missionaries. And remember, what is a missionary? It's someone who goes somewhere and tells somebody about Jesus. And we've been talking about missionaries all over the world. The last couple weeks, we've been focusing on missionaries in what area? That's right, the Amazon River, or the Amazon region in South America, and the missionaries that are serving there. Now, we've talked about two different missionaries over the last couple weeks. The first missionary's name was Kathy. Now, who can remember Kathy does something very unique? She goes to different villages along the Amazon River to tell people about Jesus. What mode of transportation does she use to get around to those different villages? That's right, obviously a boat. She uses a boat to go up and down the Amazon River, telling all the tribes that are around that area the stories about Jesus Christ. Now, last week we talked about a new family, and that was Jacob and Jesse. And they are missionaries also in the Amazon region. They have 4 kids of their own, and we talked about how life was a little bit different for those kids. We talked about some of the chores that they had to do. Who can remember some of the chores that the kids had to do in the Amazon region that are a little bit different than the chores you guys might have to do here in the United States? That's right. They have to do laundry by themselves, no laundry machine. They have to wash dishes by hand. They have to cook everything from scratch. Remember, the closest store is about 3 hours away from them. And so they can only go to the store about once a month. They have no cell phones there, so it's completely different than what you guys are used to here in the United States. But remember, they do this because they love people and they want people to hear the stories about Jesus Christ, because a lot of people in the Amazon region, they don't have access to Bibles, so they don't have a Bible of their own. So they want to go, give them Bibles so they can read the stories found in it. And remember, some of the governments in that region aren't particularly friendly to Christians and wanting people to tell others about Jesus. So there are a lot of people there that have no clue about Jesus and what he did for them. Now, we're going to continue to talk a little bit tonight about Jacob and Jesse and one of the challenges that they have faced in the Amazon region, how their church back home helped them figure out the answer to this problem. Now, before we get into that, I want to ask you guys a quick question tonight. If you could, regardless of money, have any form of transportation to get around, you could pick any type of vehicle, whatever, what would that be? What would be like the ultimate fun mode of transportation? All right, ask your parents too. What do they think would be the best way to get around? What would be the best mode of transportation when we can finally leave our homes? All right, some of you may have said like a sports car, like a Mustang or a Cobra or something like that. Maybe some of you thought maybe like a speedboat or a cruise ship. That would be a fun way to get around. Or maybe if you're thinking going around the world, maybe like a private jet. Or if you guys go really far out there, maybe like a rocket ship or something. That would be a cool way to get around. Just shoot a rocket and go wherever you want. Or maybe you thought like futuristic, like it would be really cool if we could like teleport, like in Star Trek, when you just teleport from one place to another. That'd be a fun way of getting around. There are a lot of cool ways of getting around if you have the money to do so. These are just a lot of fun ideas that you can do in terms of transportation. But transportation is actually a big need for a lot of missionaries around the world, and specifically for Jacob and Jesse and their kids. They had one specific problem while serving the Amazon region. They didn't have a car of their own. When they moved away from the States, they had to leave their vehicles and stuff here behind. So they actually didn't have access to a car while they were serving in the Amazon region. And remember, we talked about last week, the closest grocery store is about 3 hours away. So how do they get there? They can't walk because it's 3 hours driving. That's an even longer walk. So what they would normally do is they would have to either find somebody to give them a ride on the flatbed of a truck or something, just find somebody to give them a ride into the town, or they would have to pay somebody to drive them into town. So again, that's why they only went maybe once or every other month, because they didn't have access to a car. They didn't have a way to get there. So that's a real problem for them. Could you guys imagine, think about it like this. Could you guys imagine if all of a sudden you didn't have your cars? Your mom and dad didn't have their cars. You had no other way of getting around. You didn't have another way of getting to school or to church or to your ball games or your art club or whatever. You didn't have a car. You didn't have access to a car. You would have to pretty much walk everywhere you went. That'd be a pretty hard way to live, right? If all of a sudden your cars were gone, that'd be a pretty hard way to live. That'd be a pretty difficult situation. But that's the situation that Jacob and Jesse and their kids were in the Amazon region. They didn't have access to a car. So one of the things, though, they did have is they came from a church in Tennessee, and this church had sent them over as missionaries. So when they found out that they didn't have access to a car, what their church did for them is they took up a special offering for these missionaries. And what they did was they collected all this money for them, and they were able to purchase for Jacob and Jesse a brand new truck. A brand new truck for them to have in the Amazon region, to get around, to go to the store, and even also to take supplies to different people that probably also don't have access to a car. So not only is it helping them get around, it's also helping them continue to share the gospel with people that have never heard about Jesus. Because now they can use that truck to move supplies and to bring supplies to people that also don't have access to a car, don't have a way to get to the stores. They can do that for other people now. And so even though this church in Tennessee, the people in that church, they weren't there physically in the Amazon being missionaries, telling other people about Jesus, they were still making a huge difference. And here's the thing, guys. When we give money here at the church, when we give offering money to help with keeping this building together and to be able to do all the fun things that we want to do. But some of that money also goes to missionaries out in the field, missionaries that need our support, missionaries that need things like cars or food or housing or whatever in order to continue to tell people about Jesus. So when you give money to an offering, you are helping missionaries around the world continue to tell people about Jesus. And it makes a huge difference in their lives. So, one fun thing to look forward to, when we do come back here, one of the things that we are going to do as a kids ministry, as Calvary Kids, we are going to have a special time where we collect offering for specific missionaries around the world. I'm not going to tell you who it is yet. We're going to figure that out when you come back. But we're going to have a specific missionary that we're going to collect money to help a specific missionary around the world. And so that you guys can make an impact in the lives of people around the world. And it's going to be fun. We're going to make it a competition because why not? It's going to be fun. So something to look forward to as you get back. But remember, anytime that we give money to the church, to missionaries, it makes a huge difference in their lives. And we are continuing to spread the gospel of Jesus, the good news about Jesus, all around the world. It makes such a huge difference. So here's what I want you guys to do tonight. All right, before we go, I got a couple things. One, make sure tonight you just thank God for all the things that He has blessed us with. All right, because guess what? I'm thinking most of you guys do have at least one car. You've got a car to get around. Most of you probably got a TV, some video game systems, all this stuff that a lot of people serving in the Amazon region don't have. God has blessed us with all that stuff, and we shouldn't take it for granted. So first of all, thank God for all the things that he has blessed us with. But then two, what I want you to do is ask God what you can do or give to help others. All right, so be thinking about that, and we are going to provide a specific opportunity for you guys to do that when we do finally get back here in the church. All right, sound good? All right, now before we go, we've got our memory verse for the month, and that is found in Luke chapter 19, verse 10. It's going to be up on the screen here. And it says this, "For the Son of Man has come to seek and to save the lost." Remember, because that's what Jesus said he came to do. He came to seek and save the lost. People that didn't know him, he came specifically for them. All right? So let's all say this together. Ready? 1, 2, 3. "For the Son of Man has come to seek and to save the lost." Luke 19:10. All right, continue to work on that verse. We'll go back to our verse in Psalms next week, and we'll review that again, but continue to memorize these verses, guys. And I promise, whenever we do get back here in the church, if you can say these verses to me or Miss Melissa, we've got some special prizes for you. I promise we will get back here in the church one day. We miss you guys so much, and we are so looking forward to being back with you guys at some point. And remember, if you guys or your families ever need anything, please contact us here at the church. We're here to help. We love you guys. We miss you guys. And I look forward to seeing you guys next time. Thanks.